We'll call this meeting to order. Regular council meeting for City of Medical Lake, April 21st, 2026. Let's rise for the pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's do a quick roll for the men. Councilmember Pritchard.
Present.
Councilmember Abbott.
Present.
Councilmember Wilbur.
Present.
Councilmember Kennedy. Councilmember Conrad.
Here.
Councilmember Olson has asked to be excused tonight for due to an illness. Entertain a motion to excuse.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I guess I forgot to ask for discussion on any discussion. I'm seeing that. Also a request to be excused by Councilmember Spears. Also illness tonight. Entertain a
Move to excuse. Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Will be excused. Thank you so much. Looking for approval of the agenda. Any changes or additions to the agenda? Okay.
Move to approve.
Okay.
Second.
Any discussion there? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, council. This is opportunity for interested citizen comment. I don't know if anyone signed in or if there's anyone online that
Trust to verify. I gotta verify. Trust you all will guess. I don't see anybody. No.
this is a trust and
Okay.
verify moment.
You can pass it back.
No.
Here's the answer.
Audience participation. This is your opportunity. We'll have another chance at the end of the meeting. So if you hear something of interest, we'll be given another chance. So last call. We're moving on then. Announcements, proclamations, and special presentations. We do have a special presentation tonight from Spokane Conservation District. If you want to go ahead and come forward, Ms. Carter, and are you both going to be presenting tonight?
Just thinking.
Oh, okay. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Cooper and council members. Thank you for having me. I'm Vicki Carter. I'm the director of the Spokane Conservation District, and Cola Roy is with me tonight. He is with our government affairs and legislative activities. And I have a presentation in a minute here. I guess we'll get it. I just wanted to mention as I walked or drove in tonight, I had just a little throwback in time because when I moved to Spokane from Helena, Montana, 30 years ago, one of my first jobs was at Eastern State Hospital. And so I drove through town every day and worked out there for the director of the adult psychiatric unit, and then came and ate lunch at this little Mexican restaurant quite often. So it was like, I haven't been here for a few years. It was like, wow, this is all just came flooding back. Although I did come here a few years ago to go swimming in your beautiful lake, and happy to know because Chad used to do some work for the Conservation District as a soil scientist a number of years ago. Happy to report he was at our board meeting last week and said that the lake is clean and it is swimmable. So thank you for reassuring me. All right. Well, I'm here tonight just to give you an update on the Conservation District and also to inform you and the citizenry of Medical Lake of a couple of meetings that will be coming up that are public hearings or public meetings designed to talk about our rates and charges. So there it is. If you don't mind, I'll just give you a little bit of history about conservation districts for some of you that may not know us. So conservation districts were born right out of the Dust Bowl. In fact, there's a picture of Medical Lake in 1932. And I'm just kidding. But that's where our beginnings were. And as those big black clouds rolled across the United States and into Washington, D.C., there was law enacted that gave each state authority to form conservation districts. That happened in Washington State in 1939, and the first district for Spokane County was formed in 1941. So we've been around a very, very long time. There's 45 conservation districts in Washington State. There are over 3,000 across the entire landscape of the U.S. Spokane County, for many years, had 4 districts. They divided the county into 4, and in 1973, they consolidated that into 1 district, which is how we operate today. Go to the next slide. All right, so this is just kind of an interesting little slide, Spokane County by the numbers. So we're just over 1 million acres, and we have about 540,000 acres in agricultural land that we serve, over 350,000 in forested land, 500 miles of rivers, streams, and tributaries are in this county, as well as 68 lakes. And it's all being managed voluntarily under one conservation district, and that is us. So what is the conservation district? Under state law, RCW 8908, we are considered a special purpose district. So we don't have any regulatory authority. We don't have any enforcement authority, but we do work with the landowners, both private and public, on a voluntary basis. So what that means is we go in and we offer assistance, and sometimes that's in the way of technical assistance. Sometimes we have financial assistance. We were actually able to provide many of your residents in Medical Lake with some funding after the fire here a couple of years ago for restorative work. And that's still ongoing. When that happened, we applied for some state money. I think we received about over $800,000 for the Grace Fire and the Oregon Road Fire, and we're able to get that out directly to your landowners for restoration work, cleanup work, not cleanup of toxic materials. I want to make that clear, but cleanup work of their trees that were downed, or reseeding, livestock fencing, those kinds of things. And that money has just about all been spent now. So a lot of great projects were put out on the ground. And again, we do this all with a voluntary approach. And we serve all people and all landscapes. So we're most known for, if people have heard of us, generally they remember us as the Tree Cell people. So it's our very first program. It was started in 1974 as part of the World's Fair and the expo that came to Spokane. And we gave away trees. Since 1974, we've put out over 100,000 seedlings a year. We've not missed a year, including COVID. And that, we did some math, and we're like 100,000 trees, over 100,000 a year. We're over 5 million trees now thus far, 52 years of doing this. So pretty amazing. As I mentioned, we do provide technical assistance, both private and public. So a lot of times we're providing landowner assistance in the way of fire assessments, providing information on a sick or diseased tree removal, or we could be working with a public entity, much like your community. And I noticed you have some beautiful new street trees out here with some great new sidewalks, and I think we might have been a part of that. I also did note that Medical Lake isn't yet a Tree City USA, and I think we need to work together to make that happen. And we'll be here for you. And then we do some really big construction work, river restoration work on things like Hangman Creek. And I know a lot of you are familiar with that. And there's the confluence of the Spokane River and Hangman Creek. And every year it makes the paper because it looks like a chocolate milkshake meeting, clean water. A lot of that is just natural erosion that happens because of the soils. Chad, you can back me up on this. Some of it's very old agricultural practices that happened, long before us, many of us were around. And we're working with a lot of those landowners to change that. One of the things that we do are these very large scale restoration projects. And we also do conservation practices with the farmers and producers in those areas in ways of regenerative farming. We also loan money to low interest money to those producers to purchase conservation tillage equipment that reduces the tillage that's happening on those soils. Again, reducing that erosion that makes its way to that water body. And then we have a very robust education program, and that's really from kindergarten to adults. We've got these great backpack kits that are available through the libraries and through the Conservation District for families to check out on 5 different subject matters that all relate to what we do, as well as some of you might be familiar that with the new campus that we've built out, we purchased an old rock quarry in 2017. If you're familiar with where the fairgrounds is in our old building, we're just south a mile on the corner of 8th and Havana. It was the old Spokane Rocks product site. They have relocated to Airway Heights. We purchased that property, it's 50 acres, and we have restored it, rehabitated it, all the RE words that you can think of, revitalized it, renatured it,
Yeah.
repurposed it. Yes, we did. It's really beautiful, and we do a lot of educational activities there, both for young people and adults. Next month, we'll be holding a forestry expedition for fifth graders. We will have hundreds of fifth graders coming from all over the county into for the week and to explore forestry. So that's just some of the great education things that we do. We also do backyard conservation for adults, and we do our rain barrel workshop. So there's something going on, and there is something for everyone. Okay, biggest question we get whenever I do a presentation. I should probably just start with this slide. How are you funded? Here it is. We are really good at writing grants. So there is no state line item in the budget for us. We do operate under a state agency called the Washington State Conservation Commission, and they have a budget. And through them, there are some funds that get distributed, but they're still in the way of a grant. We still have to write for them. Nothing is just handed to us. So we have become very skilled grant writers, and about 76% of our funding comes from grants. 10% comes from activities that we do, workshops, and some of our tree sale. And there's just a few other revenue generators that we have. When we bought the campus, the quarry, we built a new office building. There was an existing building, so we rent that out. So we have a little bit of tenant rental that comes in. So that makes up about that 10%. And the rest of it, the 14.9 or 15%, comes from what's called rates and charges. And rates and charges is what I am here to actually talk to you about tonight. So rates and charges started in 1991 as an assessment. And this is when the Board of County Commissioners in Spokane met with some legislators in Olympia and talked about the fact that conservation districts don't have steady funding. They don't have a stable source of funding. So these gentlemen wrote legislation, and one of them was Bob McCaslin, and there's a few others that their names are escaping me right now, but they were just instrumental in getting this legislation written and passed at the state level to authorize county commissioners to allow conservation districts an assessment. Now, an assessment is not a tax, so it does not rise or fall, if that ever happens with your property tax or assessment. It's a steady, it's just a stagnant number. Okay, so in 1991, they authorized that. Spokane was the very first district in Washington state to receive that. At the time, it was $3 per parcel. So if you owned a parcel and you had your name on it, you paid $3 to the conservation district, and we were able to provide our services for that. That rate stayed until 1998, when the county commissioners voted to approve that to move to $5. That remained in effect until 2019, as a matter of fact. In 2014, the county commissioners and the state legislature, they changed the rates and charges to what's called, they changed the assessment to rates and charges because it better described how we serve our constituents, meaning that sometimes it's a direct benefit to a landowner and sometimes it's an indirect benefit. So it's now called rates and charges. So in 2019, when our assessment came up, the county commissioners voted to increase that to $10. That's what you are all paying right now if you're a landowner and have a parcel. Okay, so what we're asking for tonight, what I'm talking about for the rest of the presentation, is about going back to the county commissioners now, which will happen in August, and we're going to hold a couple of public hearings and asking for this to be raised to $15. Through the state, it has the cap is $25, and then there's an inflationary clause. So we're not asking for the full thing. We're asking for it to go up to $15 per parcel. So if you look at that, how we are able to leverage that, and I'm going to refer, you can switch to the next slide. There we go. If you look at every dollar that we receive, we leverage that funding 5 to 9 times. So for us, because we are so heavily dependent on grants, we can take $1 and turn it into between $5 and $9, and we can increase our budget and get that much more conservation on the ground. So when we bring in, where we're at right now, $2 million annually, our annual budget is $16 million because we're able to leverage that money and bring that in. Now that money goes directly on the ground in conservation practices. So what that did just this last year is provided over 200 tree assessments tree assessments and wildfire assessments for some of our landowners. Over 1,000 residents came in for educational conferences and workshops that we've held. Over $4 million just last year was loaned out on that conservation tillage equipment that I talked about. By the way, that conservation tillage program is started in 1995. We've now put out over $42 million. And it's not just in Spokane County. It's been so successful. We have partnered with 19 other counties in Washington to be the lead for that kind of funding to get that money out across Eastern Washington. It's again over 100,000 seedlings, and this year already we're over 110,000 seedlings that we know of. And then that's also helped repair over 27 miles of riparian habitat. So that's just this year. So again, that $10 per parcel where we are now is able to provide that kind of benefit and impact. Our proposed rate will go up to $15 per parcel. And I want to make this very clear to people. So $15, it's a $5 increase from where we are right now. It's 42 cents a month. Now I'm of the thinking that I could find that in the cup holder of my car. So when you look at the kind of impact that that money has, I hope that you would agree that this is a good bang for the buck and good for all of Spokane County. And again, remember, it's not a property tax. This is a flat rate per parcel, and it is what unlocks those grant dollars for us. 42 cents a month brings us safer forests. And well, you guys know what happens during a wildfire, unfortunately. It helps us provide more resilient communities, provides cleaner water through efforts like what we're doing on Hangman Creek, and definitely expands our educational opportunities and provides a healthier future for generations to come. A couple of programs that I know that we have worked on here in Medical Lake is the Pool Canopy Project. Those are trees that are nearly 15 feet tall. So you're not getting a seedling, you're getting a fairly good sized tree coming in, and we are able to provide those to residents and communities all across Spokane County. We held one of the largest post-fire workshops right here in Medical Lake after the Gray Fire. We do a lot of livestock and best management practices in this area. You guys have a lot of people with animals out here. A lot of livestock out here, and we're out there helping with management plans, manure management plans, fencing, runoff plans for buildings. So that's all done by us, and that's all done free. All of those management plans are done for free. If you look at the pictures, these are just some other ways that we do serve the community. That top left that's actually over in Airway Heights. That's at their new recreation facility. But those are NRAP students. That's Natural Resource Apprenticeship Program. That's a program that we host at the Spokane Conservation District, where we bring in youth to me, 17 to 24 years old, right out of high school. And we put them through 2 years of community college in one of 5 resource fields: agriculture, forestry and urban forestry, water resources, wildlife biology, and greenhouse management. And then we give them an internship working in that field for the years between. And so when we turn them out after that 3rd year, they're educated and they have that practical experience for that workforce development. It's a fantastic program. Another one you might be familiar with is Vets on the Farm. And we have a number of our veterans that actually farm out here now. And that started in 2015. We just celebrated our 10-year anniversary. We're very proud of that program. And that's where we help veterans transition from their military career into agricultural. The next picture over is our tree sale. That's what it looks like in the tent. There's hundreds and hundreds of tree orders in there. It's a great community event, and this year's sale was just magnificent. And then we do the picture on the top right is actually right out here in this area at the Dobbins Farm. We brought in world-class soil scientists, and Ray Archuleta was there, and there are others that we do soil field days. And in that particular one, we had over 110 people participate in that day. Maybe you've heard of the Scale House Market, the bottom left. That is our newest endeavor, our newest little baby. We took an old building that was left on the property at the quarry. It was at the Scale House. It was where the asphalt got weighed out, a big, long scale on this very narrow building. And we turned that building into a food hub. And it is just a vibrant place to be now. It supports over 160 small farms and small vendors in the Spokane and regional area. It's year-round. It gives our farmers a place to sell their product, and it supports the local economy. We've brought in over $1.5 million just since it's opened in revenue. There's over $50,000 in local sales tax collected, which means that's staying right here in our area, supporting our families and our friends, and created 15 new jobs in the short time that it's been open. On May 30th, we celebrate our 1-year anniversary, and I believe they'll be opening up the outdoor market of that on the weekend of Mother's Day, so May 8th and 9th. And then just a few more pictures of ways that we incorporate our educational activities and demonstrations to serve our community. So I think I'm just about there. We'd love to hear from you. We are holding 2 public hearings coming up next month, May 12th, 6 p.m. It will follow our board meeting, which starts at 4 p.m. You're welcome to attend that. But we are inviting the public to come in. And June 16th, again, we'll have another public hearing at 2 o'clock. We're taking testimony at these meetings. We'd love to hear from you if you've received services from us. We will take this information to the Board of County Commissioners. They will hold a public hearing in August to be able to vote on this. And again, this will be held at the Spokane Conservation District office. It's our brand new campus. So if you're just curious and want to come out for that reason alone, we'd love to see you. But we're located at 4422 East 8th Avenue in the Spokane Valley. That's it.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Any questions? Ms. Carter. I know.
Yeah, give me some props. It's just there.
Yes, so I actually moved out here because I mapped the Medical Lake Quad with this soil survey, working with the Spokane Conservation District. Fell in love with Medical Lake.
Oh,
It's good stuff.
yeah.
They do a lot of work, yeah.
Yeah, and Chad's actually been out to the quarry many times with some of your students from Eastern and talks about what a geologic phenomenon it is. Yeah, it is.
Wonderful.
Yeah, love to see you out there.
Well, thank you so much for your presentation.
Yes.
And we won't make you endure the chairs for the whole meeting. Feel free to go if you'd like, but thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having us. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
We'll move to reports then. We have some public safety reports. Should we take the Sheriff Holmgren? I think the Sheriff can be first. And if I'm wrong, then I'll double it twice.
I didn't think I went first.
I think so. See? I had a 50-50 chance of getting it right. Have a good evening. Thanks
We're
again.
leaving some goodies on the table, so if anybody wants something.
Thank you.
Oh, dangerous.
Okay.
All right.
Never mind.
Safely.
Well, good evening, everybody, mayors, city council members. We went over the crime stats in the public safety meeting here a little bit ago. Really holding pretty steady. Probably the biggest number that jumps off the page is our simple assaults, 24 year to date. Looking at that a little bit deeper, 19 of those occurred in properties associated with the SHS. So not too terribly alarming. We have offenses, total offenses year to date of 19 out of the 1,400 that we've had for the agency as a whole. So we're looking really good as the crime stats go. Excuse me. Also wanted to just bring to your attention, if you haven't seen it in the news, that Sheriff Knowles, along with 3 other Eastern Washington sheriffs, have filed a lawsuit against the sheriff decertification bill that passed and that the governor signed and is currently the law. The basis for the lawsuit, the primary basis for the lawsuit, is related to the ability for the Criminal Justice Training Commission, which consists of 19 appointed members, to be able, in extreme cases, be able to remove an elected sheriff based on their interpretation of conduct. So the current state constitution already has an avenue for voters to be able to go and recall elected officials. This would basically subvert that. So the voters could, tens of thousands of voters in Spokane County could elect somebody, and you could have that overturned by 19 unelected officials. And so that's the primary, they're not the only concern, but the primary concern. They had their first hearing here in Lincoln County. And what ended up happening was the judge that oversaw that hearing joined this case with another one that was brought in Thurston County by the Washington State Sheriff's Association. So those two lawsuits are going to be joined. They're going to be fast tracked, and we should be hearing something in the near future as that goes forward. I provided a flyer that can be put on social media. It's for our law enforcement career day. It's targeted towards high school students. It's going to be held Friday, May 1st from 9 to 2 out at the training center, 13033 West Medical Lake Road. It does require registration. So there's a QR code that is on the flyer that can be sent far and wide. It's a really great event. They've had it for a few years now. They've got law enforcement, they've got prosecutors and judges that attend and have discussions that the students can participate in. But then they also have show and tell for all the different specialty units. It's a good time. So definitely anybody that's interested in public safety, interested in law enforcement, or just has an interest in the justice system and is a high school student would be a great person to attend. Does anybody have any questions about any law enforcement related issues?
Just about the this one. Where would they go to register for it? Is it just off that flyer there? Is that the only avenue, or could they also go to like directly to the law enforcement website? Or?
So if you go to our website, there was a press release that was done. So the press releases are posted on the sheriff's office website. The flyer that is here has a QR code. It also has a link if they wanted to follow the link on the page. So I don't know, QR codes, all the kids know how to do the QR codes.
No, absolutely. And where could they find the flyer around town that these flyers have been authorized to be up so far?
Well, we can put it on. I think we just got it tonight. We'll put it on our website and share it on our Facebook, I suppose. Yeah.
I've heard that the social media outreach in the last month has been pretty tremendous for
Absolutely.
So communications, guru, so he's kind of leading that and has really picked it up. So yeah, we're getting the responses. It's nice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You want to say a few words about our new deputy?
Yeah.
So Deputy Felix, he started, what would it be, about a week ago now.
Mhm.
He was selected. There were three total deputies that had expressed interest. We had two different resource deputy positions that opened at the same time, which is unusual. So that kind of split our applicant pool. But I was very happy to see Deputy Felix had put in. I've had limited encounters with him. He's a very mature deputy. He comes by way of he retired from the Air Force and then joined and wanted to continue to serve at the local law enforcement level. So should be a really good fit out here in Medical Lake. Very even keeled, very knowledgeable. I've been extremely impressed with him. So I think he's going to be a good fit. And I think when you both met with him, you had the same opinion.
Yeah.
Can't wait with that.
You come and meet with us and we gave the nod, and so I think it's going to be a good fit. We're looking forward to working with him too. On the lawsuit, did the venue change, or is it still in Lincoln County? They joined, and then did the venue change as well?
I think that what the plaintiffs, the sheriffs had asked was, one, they wanted Lincoln County to issue an injunction until it could be determined. And then what the judge ruled was that he was going to transfer the case over to Thurston County because the two cases were similar enough. So they're going to join into one in Thurston County.
Okay.
And then he declined to offer the injunction since he was sending the case over So,
Okay, so we'll go to Thurston. Okay.
yeah, it'll all be in
Very good.
Thurston. Yeah,
I was
it's just a,
curious. I didn't know if they joined and were gonna say Lincoln County or they joined and went there, so that's just trying to kind of track it down, but.
yeah. And it's, the reason that it ended up in Lincoln County was the 4 sheriffs were all from Eastern Washington. The other 3 counties that were involved, Stevens, Lincoln, and Ponderay, have a circuit for their Superior Court judges. And so that Lincoln County judge was one of 3 that serves those 3 counties, and that's how the venue was initially determined. But we'll go to Thurston County. We'll get it figured out.
Yeah, it's the state law, it all applies, right?
Right.
I attended the West Plains, they have a domestic violence coalition that they're trying to stand up for the West Plains, and they had law enforcement from Air Heights and Cheney, and Air Heights and Cheney also have, I'll get the term wrong, but basically the folks that ride along for mental health, and then now they have a domestic violence advocate, if you will, that rides along as well. And so I didn't know if that was something we could chat about to see if we could have one of our officers attend that and coordinate. And it would be great to maybe share some of those resources. So I didn't know if you had heard about it. First meeting was yesterday, so out of Eastern.
So I knew I knew that they have developed a behavioral health unit as well. We have one as an agency. We have 2 BHU units that work in the unincorporated county, and then there are 2 as well that are assigned to the Spokane Valley. So we have a total of 4. But yeah, we could definitely collaborate.
I think it would be great, and we can probably share some of those resources as well. And then there's grants through the West Plains Safety Alliance. So we might be able to partner that up with your agency too, so that we get the whole West Plains, covered, and just add a few more resources.
Sure.
But it was a good first meeting, and there was probably maybe 20 people there. So mostly law enforcement, prosecutor, and some other those that are involved in the domestic violence advocacy world. But it was a good first start. But it's, as coalitions go, first blush, this is your team, this is your group now, right? And so anyway, but it was good. A lot of great discussion and some good leadership there. So
Good.
Yeah.
So
Anyway,
excited.
well, thank you. I'll be sure that I think I asked her to include you on the next invite, so I'll let you decide
Please do.
how to manage that.
All right. That sounds good.
Okay, all right.
Mayor.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Chief Orbach, thank you for coming.
Good.
So call volume, March 69 calls. So within the bell curve of what we would call normal for Medical Lake. We're up 18% over same period last year for the entire district. Didn't tease out the data specific to Medical Lake, but when I look at January, February, March, nothing out of the ordinary yet. I think we touched on, wildfire season and what the indices are showing last time, but we're certainly gearing up for what could be a very challenging wildfire year. So it's all our pre-suppression. Folks are out training tonight, trying to ensure we get all of our required training complete and everything ready to go in anticipation of what is to come, although we've already gotten several wildfires this year. So we'll see if that trend continued, but we really don't even call it the wildland season anymore. It's the wildfire year. So
Yeah.
that's where we're at. That's probably the big topic right now, is just gearing up for that and ensuring we're prepared for what may come. Want to make sure our members association is separate from Fire District 3. It's a 501c3, but it's also made up of members of our organization, both volunteer and career firefighters, but they host the annual Fisherman's Breakfast. And I know it made the agenda tonight, so I know it's making the rounds and the marketing material is getting out there, but I sit in on that as an honorable non-voting member, and just love to hear the community focus, the understanding of the tradition, the legacy, and what that means to this community. That was one of the concerns, right, with the merging or annexation into fire district 3. We really didn't want to lose that. And so there's folks carrying that torch and they know what it means and they're really into that. So we talked a little, just the historical context when fishing season, all the lakes opened on one day. I think it was a little easier,
Yeah.
right? And the world's different now, but spring sports, and we know a lot of people are coming to town. So any ability to help us get the word out via your social media channels or ours, we're working on our marketing there and just trying to ensure everybody knows. They have historically charged what I felt was a very reasonable charge for breakfast for that. This year they're going, I believe, to donations only to try and really make it accessible to everyone. And I can see their budget for that. So I know they're going all in on this to try and make that valuable to the entire community and make sure it's accessible to everyone.
Sometimes that model, you do better.
Exactly.
That's what.
And other people go, I see all these people, I better give extra, and you'll be surprised. I'll be interested to see. You knew that Glenn Horton, with our Park and Rec guy, is providing work with Fish and Wildlife. So we'll have a little fishing stock tank with 50 fish and
I do know that, but I didn't find out till like last week. I was like, what?
we just sealed the deal yesterday with I think we got all the pieces in place and can make it happen. So we'll get that out on social media channels as well. But so that goes.
I was excited because they put a lot of effort in trying to make that a great event.
Yeah, so that'll be across the street and that'll be another just added activity. And so I think it's going to make it fun.
I love it. Yeah, and as always, right? If there's things ideas you have that would make it even better, they are all ears and they take notes every year, do an after action review, pass that on, and different members take lead on it. So it's really a great event.
It's really great, and of course, we love our fire department very much. And I think it's just a great, it just shows the community that you love us too, I guess.
No, it's
You're saying it in a better way, but yeah, it's just great.
It's great to be there and see that it's truly about service,
Yeah.
right? That they're doing it for all the right reasons. So
Yeah.
it's great to see.
Appreciate it, and it'll be a fun time. What are the hours again?
Oh,
6 a.m.
6, because historic, I think they traditionally done the midnight
Yeah.
opener, and with changing times, they weren't catching. I think there was a couple different crowds they would catch around 2 a.m. Some maybe leaving and some going to the lake, some leaving other places. And that really, they actually tracked the data for how many people showed up in that window.
Yeah.
And it was
Minimal.
it was so low. They said, hey, let's really gear up and start at 06.
No, I think that's fantastic. So, well, thank you so much. Any questions for Chief Norfolk?
Thanks, Chief.
Yeah,
Well,
appreciate your time.
all right. Have a great night.
All right, we're moving on then to committee reports. Council, Councilman Pritchard, any report?
We had an HCDAC or Housing and Community Development meeting last week. And we're still talking about the hazard mitigation money, the 44 million that came in. Quite a bit of discussion about that. And then we sort of provided recommendations to county commissioners for funding for housing issues. And then we had a geo walk on Saturday and about 30 people show up. Only about 3 or 4 of them were from Medical Lake. So it was kind of fun to have a bunch of people from Spokane Valley and a bunch of different places. Sample Lake, and Steve Cooper was there talking great. He's got a spiel down. He started this, he didn't want to talk at all, and now he's talking up a storm, and it's all great. People love his history and what he knows about the lake and restoration. It's a great event. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much. Councilmember Abbott? No report. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you. Councilmember Loper?
Yeah, the safety meeting, we got some information that we're actually on track to finish up this this round of the SCMP grant for the May 1st. And as you can see, they're just moving right along here, but it doesn't seem to be haphazard. They're really professional out there, and they're keeping the roads pretty well cleared, but also making great progress. So I'd say kudos to to our local community works team. So I couldn't be prouder of those guys. So they've been doing wonderful. As for the conduit installation for the generators, that's been going wonderfully. We have a 3-inch conduit in the ground that's also going to not just be for powering the generators, but also put in that fiber optic to come up behind it. So it's a twofer. So that's going to save us a lot of money as well. So that was a lot of forethought. Whoever's been in charge of that has just been, right on top of it. So I couldn't have done it better myself. You guys have just been great. The other thing that I also asked your staff and the works to get in on was making sure that we don't need a dedicated operator for any of the generators, depending on the size. Because if you go up too far in size, you have to have a dedicated operator for the generator once it's in operation. So I didn't want I think we're okay. I want to make sure that we are okay. So it's within budget and we don't get stuck. So I just asked for a verification of that before we make a final decision on something we'll regret. That was all we went over, as far as I know, in the safety meeting. So other than that, I'll
Okay,
move on.
thank you very much. Councilman Kennedy.
Last Friday, I had the pleasure of going on the base to the 84th annual Doolittle Toast. Whatnot was a very informative thing. 84 years since the Doolittle raid, and it kind of spurred my interest. So I did a little more research. That I didn't realize it was only 132 days from Pearl Harbor to when we bombed the Doolittle raid on Japan. And man, that's a short period of time. They decided in January they needed to do something, and apparently Jimmy Doolittle proved that you could take off in a short period of time. So February, they gathered volunteers. There ended up being 16 B-25s with 72 officers, 64 enlisted. Month of March, they spent training. And then in first part of April 2nd, they had flown to San Francisco to put the bombers on the Hornet. And April 2nd to when they launched, and April 18th. They were on the time. Doolittle tried 4 different bombers and whatnot that they had available at the time, but the wingspans were too long, couldn't get enough planes, couldn't clear the decks, whatnot, so they settled on the B-25s, took everything out important in case they got cappaged, the bomb sites, navigation equipment, all that sort of weight stuff out, put a neoprene gas tank in there, held an extra 600 gallons of fuel so they can get to where they're going. That's amazing. And they put sticks out the back where the guns used to be. And Doolittle said that was helpful because no fighters would come up behind them because they saw those sticking out. They had planned on going to Vladivostok in Russia after the thing, but the Soviets refused to give them clearance. So then they had to go an extra 600 miles to China. And then they had to leave 300 miles too soon because they got spotted and whatnot. I was thinking of the 16 crew, 16 planes, 14 reached safety and returned to the U.S. 1 crewman was killed while bailing out. 8 others were captured by Japanese. 3 were later executed. But the one thing that I didn't know that Japanese reprisals for this raid in China, they ended up killing approximately 250,000 civilians and another 70,000 Chinese soldiers because of the raiders that went through. That's awful. So Saturday, I went to the Medical Lake Dollars for Scholars Spring thing and donated some money.
Very good.
That's all.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Councilmember Harbolt.
Yes, Your Honor. Scott gave us quite a bit for digestion at the general government meeting tonight. We're looking at a council strategic planning retreat in June. Sonny's working on that. Roadway maintenance, crews are prioritizing roadside maintenance, pothole repairs, and storm drains in prep for the scrub seal to start in June. The generator installation, the FEMA funded generators are being installed on the Lane Road well site and maintenance shop in City Hall. Street sweeping is actively operating throughout the city. And the compost trailers are open, which is great. Everyone's using those. FEMA paving started on the 20th and in the South Lake Terrace neighborhood. Hydrant flushing started on the 9th, and the bus stop improvements, as you can see on 902, those are underway. So be careful with the crews on the roadsides. We've been asked to pass that out. And then cleanup, green up is scheduled for May 9th at Waterfront Park from 8 to noon. And Department of Ecology and Department of Health will be on site for a leadership visit. The partners will be here on the 4th of May to observe plant operations and continue conversations with the city. And then in May, on May 7th, I'll be attending my second Fair District 3 Citizens Advisory meeting in Cheney. That's it.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's a lot. I was going to tease and say, gee, can't you guys find something to do? But
Yeah, they're busy.
they are very busy. Thank you so much. I'm just going to give a brief report. Sunday, I attended a briefing of the 141st, and they're really doing a lot of work with federal delegation and then also local electeds and representatives to try to work by getting their assets. So 141st does not own anything. Their own planes are not assigned to them. They do all the work. They have to prepare and do all of that. But the 92nd had planes, and it's a longer story that I'm going to share tonight. But anyway, we were briefed on that, and so that was the message there. So I am honorary commander for the 92nd, but everybody was invited to this. It was very good. As I said, I attended the West Plains, the first Domestic Violence Coalition, all law enforcement and that domestic violence response for the West Plains. So that looks like that's going to take off and do very well. Today I was in Yakima, down and back this morning, but I sit on the Washington State Emergency Management Board, and they're looking for advisory to the governor on what needs to change, policy changes, and we covered the waterfront for sure. But anyway, getting ready for that advisory. We didn't take a vote today. It was a strategic planning, but anyway, it'll go to an advisory vote, and then it'll go to the governor on things so they can do better in wildfire and other disaster response. So it was a good meeting, and we've been busy, met with our federal lobbyists, continuing to get kind of those projects down the road, and I'll let Sunny share other things about that. But that's about all I have off the top of my head. I got in here about 15 minutes before the meeting started. So that's all I can remember right now. So anyway, Mr. Weathers, anything pretty good in order.
Good evening. I want to say good morning. maybe tomorrow.
Good morning, good day, goodbye.
Yeah, in case I don't see it. Good evening, Mayor and Council. A couple things to report. As city administrators, I want to start out by saying that I'm very pleased to announce that we've been awarded $15,000 for a risk mitigation grant through the WCIA, that's our insurance pool, to improve public access to the Fox Hollow Trail at Tara Lee near Shepherd Field. And it's just a very exciting culmination of this was an idea that was brought forward from the public. The citizen brought it forward to us and said that I think it should be on your transportation improvement program. It wasn't. It was a great idea. We added it to the list. We didn't have a funding opportunity that first year, but having that project on the list, we were looking for the right opportunity, and WCIA offers these risk mitigation grants, so we're very excited to apply. Our grant writer helped us produce that narrative, and we were awarded a $15,000 grant. So it's just very, very exciting, and looking forward to being able to deliver that project to improve access to the Fox Hollow Trail near Shepherd Field. I also want to let you know that staff are conducting a comprehensive utility rate study to fully understand the costs required to sustainably provide the water, sewer, and stormwater services that we provide. The study is nearing completion of an analysis of our short-lived assets. Right now, there's a few different buckets that we're looking at as far as the costs associated. We've also talked about our long-term capital improvement needs, and we're moving into a detailed review of operations and maintenance costs. There will be a public outreach campaign to help inform residents about how these costs are identified and how they translate into utility fees and rates to ensure that we can provide this critical infrastructure and it remain viable over time. City Council will also get the chance to review and discuss the study findings in advance of the budget season to ensure that our utility rates are set at appropriate and sustainable levels. So just want to fill you in on that. There's more to come, but work is underway. Thanks, Councilmember Harbolt, for mentioning the City Council Strategic Planning Retreat. It's the early June opportunity. We'll be reaching out to get that on the schedule. I'm always careful to talk about things in the future because I feel like it's pressing the fast forward button every time we do it, but we're there. So we'll be reaching out to get a right time and place, and we're working on getting that agenda. We'll talk about strategic planning initiatives and capital improvement planning, and set the tone for what the work that we'll do over the summer. Lastly, just want to talk about some good Saturday fun opportunities. I know you've heard a little bit about what's going on, but this Saturday is shaping up to be a really great day to enjoy everything Medical Lake has to offer. Spring youth sports kickoff across town. Going to fill the fields with energy and families and hometown spirit. And then we've got the annual Fisherman's Breakfast that's going to bring community together for a long-standing tradition. And this year made even more fun with the work of our Parks and Rec department and the help of Crazy Uncle Landon's new business for recreation and sport fishing and boat rentals and things of that nature. And the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife. So I'm excited to provide additional activities and interest to draw more into the Fisherman's Breakfast experience. And then rounding out the day, art lovers can take in the Slightly West of Spokane Art Show, which is going to be on the West Plains at the Rosarium. And it's going to showcase a lot of regional talent in a beautiful setting on the West Plains. And so just lots of really fun things to do. It'd be a great spring kickoff. And if you didn't have plans already, don't plan anything else because Saturday's got lots of fun things for you already. So that's all I have unless you have any questions for me.
Thanks, I appreciate it. We'll move on then into our workshop discussions. Student, we have costs. I did that last time. I see somebody had checked off the wrong box. Finance Director, Q1 budget report, page 3.
Absolutely. I know it's not the most fun subject, but here we are. We have completed quarter 1, and I've got some results to show for it. If I can direct you to page 3 in the packet. The quarterly budget report has a user guide in case you're not familiar with how to dive through this report. And then moving on to page 4, we have the results for the revenues of the operational funds. And okay, so in quarter 1, obviously there's not a lot of the year to show, but there were a couple highlights here. First off, with the general fund being slightly lower than 25%. I have mentioned this every year since I've been here, but property taxes come in May. So a large portion of our expected revenue in that fund have a little delay there into quarter 2. So I am not concerned. And then going down the line a little bit, public facilities, as you may know, is one of the newer funds that houses all of the expenditures related to our public facilities such as City Hall and the maintenance building in order to extract those expenditures from the departments that use them and rather isolate them to more of a landlord capacity and manage those a little bit more strictly. So the revenues are slightly lower because we're getting that up and running accounting wise. So there's a couple more nuts and bolts to go through to get that sorted out. And then you'll note the kitchen is at 0. That's simply because the kitchen has not been constructed or operational yet. Can't wait to see that come through. And then water, another annual reminder that those revenues start ramping up in summer. So being a little bit below is nothing out of the ordinary. I think it's sat around 19% every year given this Q1 budget report. Moving on to expenditures, page 1 of the operational funds. So everything is looking good so far. I did note that the code enforcement department is a little bit above what is expected. I did dig into that and note that there was a medical change, which resulted in so staff's benefits changing, and in such a small department that makes a big impact. Nothing else of note in that department, but I will add that I am foreseeing a budget amendment related to that. But nothing really we can really control. And then moving on to the second page of operational funds. Noted here, the only thing of note, other than the solid waste being a little bit below where we would anticipate right now, I believe mostly just because of the timing of expenditures, but the library facilities, you'll notice that 102%, that's not scary. That just is one expenditure in that fund, which is the insurance. And it was $100 over what we anticipated. Unfortunately, it will be a budget amendment, but nothing of note. And then moving on to the project-based funds. So this portion of the report has a slightly different format, meaning because it's not operational, we don't anticipate regular expenditures in these funds, but it is nice to track where they began and where they end, and where the revenues are at and expenditures, just to see how those funds are doing financially. You'll notice that the streets fund and the contingency fund had a negative starting balance and current balance. That is the nature of those two funds, with the streets being the majority of those expenditures are reimbursable through TIB grants and the ADA grant through SRTC. And then the contingency fund houses all the expenditures related to the FEMA repaving and other FEMA projects, which we will be paid out after the projects are done. So those will have to sit negative for a little bit. Other than that, nothing of concern. And then finally, I did add a new page to this report where I summarized some of my findings. And that's the budget memo, where it explains essentially some of the things that I stated here, but also just noting liability and property insurance for the entire year are paid in January. So a lot of the expenditures might look a little higher, but that's just the nature of paying that bill all up front, and it is a large bill. And then the other note here that I'm tracking anything that might result in a budget amendment. I do have a few that I wanted to mention here, which was one, the code enforcement department that I'm tracking, in addition to the public safety fund, following the contracts for extra duty officers and protective services. Did a little financial analysis and found that we budgeted a little under what we had expected in 2025, as we hadn't gone through the entire year when we set the budget, and we were basing on historical data. And so the needs that will arise in this year will put us at about 10,000 over what we had budgeted for. But what we also budgeted lower than we had in previous years because of the usage. So where we would normally have budgeted 50,000, we budgeted 36. So it's kind of falling in par with what we would actually expect, but still tracking that. And we'll know more as the year goes on how much we actually utilize those services. Legislative, I noted the contract with the federal lobbyists. That is in the legislative fund in the general fund, or sorry, legislative department in the general fund. So we'll want to track that as well, as it will likely result in a budget amendment. Obviously, the good that will come from that is phenomenal, and those dollars will be multiplied significantly. We're also tracking the water restricted fund as one of the items that are in the workshop tonight, related to the engineering work for the Staples water line replacement, as those weren't budgeted for, but we want to keep a close eye on all the projects that are happening there, and throughout the year, and see where any budget amendments might be needed. The other two that are just a matter of housekeeping, but essentially the ARPA and broadband funds, So we had anticipated all of these projects being completed within those funds by the end of 2025. They were not. So essentially, there are no appropriations for those funds, but plenty of funds to use. So essentially, when I do propose a budget amendment, it will be for the entirety of the funds that exist in those funds, so that we can get those spent up. The ARPA is mandatory. It has to be spent by the end of the year. And then the broadband, essentially, it's the 100,000 that was granted by the county in order to accomplish what we're hoping to accomplish with these broadband infrastructure projects. So it's vital that we spend that money and get those projects off the ground. And then with the library, as I mentioned, the small $100 budget amendment. Yes, Chad.
Is there, so to my knowledge, we were going to use that mostly for the kitchen, the ARPA money.
ARPA, yes.
Is there a backup plan? Because I'm starting to see a consistent thing happen. Do we have a plan B for that money? So we can use it?
It's entirely obligated to the kitchen. I will say that with the contracts that have gone into place with the plumber, and then tonight there's also the HVAC. With those, it will consume it should consume most of the remaining ARPA funds, which is about 85,000.
Okay.
So essentially, the work that will be done will at least get it, up to
Closer.
par. And it should be significantly less than what was talked about in the capital improvement projects. And especially with our general contractor dropping out, a lot of the expenditures that would have gone towards that have dropped that down significantly. So we won't have to pay for them, even though it's very
Is your
unfortunate.
concern that we would spend all the money in time?
I
you're more
mean, it seems like a
concerned that-
possibility. This is
Well,
based on
The
history.
nice thing about that is that we have a lot of other things we could buy for the kitchen.
Okay,
As
that's
we
what I'm
cut back things that we
Right.
didn't buy as we knew as it got more expensive.
Yeah.
So some things were removed. So there is plenty of opportunity to, yes.
Yeah, it's like looking at
So we'll
Scott,
lock
like, maybe we
it.
can
Yeah.
like buy him some equipment or something, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's dishes and things and
Okay.
yeah, all kinds of stuff that we can spend kitchen money on, but
Could those funds also be used for the service agreement for the kitchen?
they could be, yes. Oh, well,
It
that's a good question. I don't see. why
It could.
not.
I believe it could. Basically, the obligation that was made was, I would have to review the resolution. So council passed a resolution obligating all ARPA funds. I would have to review what the specific language was that it was obligated for, but I believe it was the commercial kitchen project. So anything that would fall under that umbrella should be fair game.
Yeah.
But I do.
That's a good point, and we could always, if it's not clear, we could always come back and amend to
Yeah.
include it if we needed to,
Yes,
so,
okay, you always that kind of stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, I believe it. It's not too late. The ship has not sailed. It's just that, it's council's obligation at this point that is restricting it to that purpose.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Just plan ahead, sorry.
yeah, I believe based on what I've heard that it should be able to be spent within the year.
And Coney Island.
Microscope.
Yes, it will. It will.
Someday. All right.
Yeah,
But yeah. Any other questions from council?
council, any other questions we thought stated? All right. Thank
Thank you very much.
And thanks for taking the time this week. We talked about a lot of things and I appreciate you taking the time. Absolutely. Hey, now we can move on to our workshop discussions, which is a service agreement for the kitchen management, speaking of the kitchen. So I guess I'll start off when we first talked about doing the kitchen and along the way, we're like, and how will we maximize the revenues for the kitchen? Knowing it'll be a commercial kitchen and we want to use it as an incubator kitchen. We also want to use it for classes like canning and preserving and baking and whatever else can come out of a kitchen. Also, mostly the incubator idea that we can attract restaurants to come, that those chefs can come and try their wares and we will set up a model to where we sell tickets and serve meals like a restaurant, see if we've been following for a certain cuisine and that sort of thing. So we reached out to Erin Bishop. She has managed the farmers market here. And if you remember last summer, she also did the there's like a cooking contest. And so she has connections with all of those kinds of people and she's done a great job. And so we reached out to her because she does all things marketing, website, social media, and does a great job of recruiting folks and filling that kind of space. And so anyway, that's how this came about after conversations with her. She put together a cost benefit model, like what would the fees look like? How would we manage this? It's new, so we haven't done it before. But this is her area of expertise. She has a business that she is the cannery that she runs herself along with managing farmers market. So anyway, we went over that, Sunny and Cost and I with her, and felt that we landed in the right spot. She'll meet with staff, will track her hours, although she's a 1099 employee. We had some conversations, should be a W-2 or 1099. We really wanted to stay with 1099, and I think she does. The real difference there, just as we all learned, is are we directing her every day as to what kind of work, or do we have a product that we say we're going to hire you on a 1099 contract, and this is the expectation that we get this outcome. So it was supposed to start in January, but we had the delays because of the kitchen. And so this is one of those things where it's going to take her probably a month or two to get the website, the marketing, the advertising, reaching out to those folks and getting them interested and signed up, and all of the things that it takes to start a new business. This will operate like a new micro business. So anyway, we're excited to get it going. The revenues, we were hoping we'd have a whole year, to show some revenues. But of course we'll have half the cost too, because she's starting mid-year. But we don't, one of the reasons that I wanted to go with a 1099 employee too is to not hire a person, have to get benefits and all of the things. And what if the model doesn't work like we think it is, and so this gives us opportunity to change, adapt on the fly, see what works, see what doesn't work, and adjust as we go along, and then look at her contract at the end of the year. You'll see it ends December 31st. So we get into this next budget cycle. We'll look at what does that look like for next year. We'll have a few months under our belt to kind of get a feel for it, but so that's the plan. It may end up in the budget amendment. Maybe we can use kitchen leftover money, and that would be a sweet way to use that money, actually. So, but we feel that we can absorb that, and if it goes as we think it will, creating opportunities for more anniversary dinners and nonprofits. There's not a kitchen left in Medical Lake that nonprofits can cook a dinner and host a fundraising dinner. If you go to Spokane, it's about $1,000 to rent the kitchen. And so we feel like it's really going to be a great opportunity for our nonprofits too. So anyway, happy to answer any questions about that or questions about the contract.
When's the kitchen expected to be done?
That's a good question. That's fabulous. That's not, Sunny, when's the kitchen expected to be done?
So what we're shooting for is August 1st. So that's our target.
But there's nothing in there right now, right?
We have work going on. You authorized the plumbing contract. The plumbing just walked off the job today, completing everything that's done. There's some gas plumbing that has to penetrate the roof, but we're not going to do that until the stuff is installed. So electrical has been working. We've got HVAC on the docket for tonight as well. So the work is happening to get it prepared. The equipment is already purchased and sitting in the warehouse, ready to be installed. We don't have the space to store it here. So we're waiting until it's ready to go in so we can just put it in place. But, we'd love to commit earlier, but we don't want to overpromise and kick the can down the road further. We feel fairly confident that August is a good date that we know we can complete by.
So this contract would start June 1 is the idea. Give her that June to August to get everything get all of the website and the marketing and outreach done.
What is the pay scale? There's no exhibit there.
Yeah, see, exhibit A.
Oh, is it not in there?
It was in last week's.
It was in last week's, but not this one. It's, do we have it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
Minutes,
So it was,
Remember that?
26,
2,000 a month.
do something,
2,900.
then plus.
was it, what was it?
2,900
$2,900.
plus $30 an hour. For on-site work.
Yeah, sure. The $30 an hour on site is if there is an event and somebody is holding an event and staff feel like they want her there to either train, oversee, and make sure that, you know, they're not breaking the equipment. That she'd be asked to do that.
So is it salary and then overtime or hourly after?
It's a contract, 1099 contract, which is the flat fee. But then if she's asked to come in and either train or oversee or be on site for an event that somebody else is holding here to kind of protect our assets, if you will, then that's just $30 an hour. She'll bill us monthly, and she'll report. I spent so many hours on marketing, or, you know, so she'll give us a report on what she's been doing, but it'll be the flat rate plus if there are any of those others, they'll be itemized on the bill.
The kitchen will go on just like the website as well, so people run it.
It'll have its own page too, so that it'll have its own calendar. We'll probably combine the kitchen and the auditorium. We will combine the kitchen and the auditorium together so that we don't double book anything. And so there'll be staff coordination that happens to make that happen. And I was talking to Coss about having park facilities, and anything that's parks related could roll up into that. You know, we can track separately, but this being everything buildings, the kitchen will be kind of a line item under that, but it'll roll up into facilities. So we'll probably look at that we have our budget discussion for 26, but 27, 28.
Well, my question was, I guess, going back to try to figure out where we're gonna pay for that wage for that salary from, because I guess I missed something when we first discussed it. I completely understand and agree with the need to have that service. I just don't remember how we were gonna pay for it.
So it's by the fees, the revenues that are raised. So eventually it'll be just like we want with the parks program, that it will become self-sustaining.
Stuff that's gonna have to happen to make up $2,900 a month.
Yeah, so we, when we did the analysis for the year, we estimated that it could bring in about enough to cover that, the 40,000 for the year. And so it was, a cost analysis. So if we can pay her less, but she'll do less. So, but that's where we landed. And, if you look at what we pay employees plus benefits, it's about 90,000 a year. So we felt like this was maybe a better way to get a lot of work. But no, I understand the question for sure. And I think it's a partial year, so we can see what it's looking like. She'll only have whatever day the kitchen, August, so maybe a few months, but at least we can kind of get a flavor and talk about that for 2027. So, yes, sir.
And so the plan will be just be an annual contract then?
We did make it annual.
Okay, so that's the good.
And I think that it can renew automatically, but I think 2 times or something.
It does not currently state that.
Oh, it doesn't state that. Okay.
But I do think it stated, if I remember correctly, that we could change it on a
You
month to
can, you
month.
will.
Yeah.
You
And
can
so
always
that's why I was
change
like,
it. Yeah.
we'll see how it does.
And we did want to make it easy out for us and for her. It's the same terms, both sides. It's not going to be what she thought it would be either. I don't know, but she's pretty fabulous at the marketing side. I think that's where we'll get our highest value, is getting it set up, marketed, get all of the back end. How do you schedule? How do you pay? So she'll work all of that out for us. And so I think that's probably the value in my mind.
I think the biggest hesitation would be nice to see a schedule. Like, I mean, I've never really seen a plan for like the whole kitchen thing, but it seems like it's always later and more expensive. It sounds like it'd be cheaper, but I still don't. I mean, like we're doing little bits and pieces, but it's hard to see the whole thing happen. So like August, I trust Sunny hugely, but I don't know. Every time I've looked at it, it doesn't look like it's
Yeah.
true. That's my big hesitation. It's like hire somebody in June and then it's like 3 months of waiting essentially. But no, you can't take pictures. You can't really.
Yeah. The other option would be to wait until the kitchen's completely done. And then she can start. And, you know, but it'll have to be the setup of the whole, the website and the payments and the, you know,
The month makes sense.
scheduling, all of that. And, you know, if that's what you want to do, we could do that too. So, yeah. So,
Just one belief.
yeah.
If I may just add some context to, because we have a great Parks and Rec staff but they're currently operating at their existing capacity and their expertise is appropriately focused towards parks and programs and the things that are in their world. Commercial kitchen operations are specialized and different than what the expertise that we offer. So talking about that specialized scheduling and compliance and coordination functions that are outside of the normal routine for our Parks and Rec staff who are already at their capacity with the existing programs that they're working. So this is an agreement to allow the city to supplement that capacity with targeted expertise to really help us establish this kitchen to get the best return on the investment. So.
Well, I think what would really help ease the council is if we could actually also just have a conversation with Erin Bishop here. So we could try to, you know, see not what she's going to bring to it, but, you know, what her what her vision is for running this on her end, as it's going to say, it's like as the mayor pointed out, that she's going to really run this for us. So we would like to hear in her own perspective and her own from her on how she's going to do this.
Yeah, she did give us a written, you know, outline of what that would look like, but I don't see any problem inviting her to come along or to join us by Zoom and have that conversation.
Even Zoom is just fine. Just you know, to just be available for 10-15 minutes on, hey, you know, do you mind just talking with the council for a few minutes, maybe kind of go over what your game plan is and, you know, what we understand that you are the right person for this job. That's not the question. It's can you kind of alleviate some of these questions and fill in some of the gaps for us. So
employee by contract technically, you know, so if we just like any other contractor, I guess we don't usually have them come in and talk to council about, are you really a plumber? But you know, we can do that. So if that's what council wants to do, happy to do that.
I would like that. I know Erin, she's a wonderful person. I just think for full transparency, it would be nice if she could address the council and before this plunge like this and like, hey, this is what I have planned from my own mouth. And
Sure. Yeah. Council, any other thoughts on that? Mr. Pritchard, I thought I saw you.
Nope.
No.
You guys thought.
So, council's, what's your pleasure, council, if you want to. So,
Sure. I mean, I would really like to see a schedule, like for like a bigger picture of what's happening in the kitchen. Yeah. Too.
all right.
Yeah.
Well, let's bring it back then for a second. The options would be bring it back for a second workshop, have her present or by Zoom and can talk to us. Is that what you're talking about, or you're wanting? What do you mean by a bigger schedule?
Like, so when is the HVAC gonna be done that we think is
Exactly.
gonna be
Oh, you
done?
want
When is it
kitchen.
installed? I mean, when is this
Yeah.
house gonna actually happen?
Yeah.
If our staff are already, you know, 100% booked at a house.
So, well, Park and Rec staff are 100% booked. These are contract people doing the work. Dave
But you get a contract.
Weisbeck is overseeing the, you know, as a building inspector, he's overseeing that work. But we can do both of those things. So we'll get a report on where we are with the kitchen. Next time we'll workshop that along with all things kitchen. And we also will have her work for us. She gave us an outline of what her plans are and the kinds of things and the kinds of fees that would be set. Those have to be, approved separately, the fee schedule, but she did have a proposed fee, which is what where we came up with the expected revenue. So, so we'll bring both of those back next time. Thank you. Thanks for your thoughts on that. I really appreciate it. Next is the Waterfront Park Transfer MOU, page 18.
So, Mayor and Council, this memorandum of understanding establishes a framework for transferring waterfront park property from DSHS to the City of Medical Lake for permanent public outdoor recreation use. It reflects the legislative decision that took place, the direction authorizing a government-to-government transfer, and it outlines the respective roles and responsibilities and financial obligations of each party. While the MOU does not itself convey title or grant easements, it provides the agreed upon structure under which the final property transfer documents and the trail easements will be developed and executed as required approvals are completed. So this implementation phase is expected to occur over 6 to 12 months, speed of government, but we'll give it our best go. And depending on required statutory approvals and administrative processing and the complexity of final legal instruments and easements and how that all happens. But it's been a long time coming, and we're very excited and eager, both us and our partners at the SHS, to be able to implement this transfer.
Add that the legislature said this had to be done by May, and May is here. Legal did make a few grammatical corrections.
Right,
so
which-
we'll see that, but
Yeah, and I submitted those to our partners who, after tonight, if there's any further discussion or desires for changes, I'll submit that to them. They'll review it internally, and we'll be able to bring it back for action on May 5th. So May 30th is the legislative deadline. So we have the potential of actually being done ahead of schedule.
Wow.
And this is very exciting stuff.
it is
Yeah.
super exciting,
Yeah.
It's a long time coming, and
Yeah.
think of all the meetings and work that went into this. Can't even tell you, but
Right.
it's so fun to see it happening.
Feel like our city's having a baby.
So if council will, with your approval, then we'll bring that forward then at next council meeting.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. It's a service agreement with UNH Engineering for the water main improvements, page 23, and we do have our engineer here. Yeah.
Hello, council, thank you. Yeah,
Good evening.
good evening, good evening. But there we go. What we're asking for basically is a budget amendment, $48,000 budget amendment to cover engineering and survey on this project here. Broken into, there's two phases. Green was kind of the original project we had planned to do, but upon further inspection of the neighborhood, it got a little bigger. I guess, Tom, all the blue lines you see in there are new or replacement connections.
Yeah, so your cyan lines are your existing lines, and right now they're spider lines that are running in between houses. So the guy's house across the street is running through from the street. It's a side street from Martin all the way across Staples and feeding a couple homes on the other side. I mean, it's really a goofy way of doing things.
Yeah.
So and then you got the main line in the back, from Brooks between Staples and Jefferson. There's a 2-inch line that's feeding all those homes, and it's at the back of the homes. You can't get to it. 2-inch line isn't big enough. and you can't service it, and it has horrible leaks potential because your ground contains a lot of moisture, so it's galvanized pipe.
Yeah.
And not to mention something like that. Explain that one.
This is that 2-inch cyan line that went between homes from Martin to Staples. And I found it in a manhole, a sewer manhole. It goes right through the sewer manhole. The loose running water is the sewer, and that 2-inch water line's going right through that.
Huh.
And they did that twice in this neighborhood, just because of where they put the lines. There are lines running in backyards, and that's just what you did in the past. And we're in there repairing those at least once a year, since I've been here at the city. So they're all small lines. I just threw some pictures in
Just to go back to that one, just so everybody's aware, that's not a good thing.
No.
That's kind of a no-no in the water industry.
Why'd they do that? Because reasons?
No idea.
path of least resistance.
Okay, yeah, reasons, stuff happens.
Yeah,
It was too far to go to get a couple 90s.
Okay,
So we're gonna go straight.
yeah. Yeah,
All right.
So again, this is a project, a capital project we were bringing up for next year. But I wanted to get, we were doing the stormwater mitigation survey and all that this year while we were out there, and we have the survey, we pushed to do this because we had so many marks that intertwined in our locates that it was just, it was a benefit to us to go ahead now and take advantage of all those locates and whatnot. So this one, again, is another sewer line coming out of a home, between homes. And we found, actually the homeowner found that water line for us with a post hole digger.
oh, how wonderful.
And then the following day hit his sewer line.
Yay.
So there's 2 repairs in there. So I have these pictures, and I always take pictures of these when they happen, but again, it was a capital project that I had brought forward a while back, and it's a neighborhood that we're constantly in, and it's getting tighter, and there's more utilities going in, fiber. So, and then one of the biggest things this will give us is that, oh, good, you got that mouse there. If you hook it on the end of, is it a pointer?
No.
Okay, that's all right. I'll up my game next time.
Yeah.
That
Where do you put
bigger, this bigger blue line here. Thank you, dear. Right here, basically would be it would loop our system. Right now, this is non-existent. That's an 8-inch water main. We'll hook up right here.
Proposed. The
Proposed.
dark blue is all proposed.
And what it'll do, it'll loop that neighborhood and get us better fire flow and allow us to feed those homes the way they should be fed.
Everybody comes off the larger water main in the street, and then you have the standard meter box assembly, and then it continues on and reconnects to their
So is there going to be any homeowner expense? Because if their water's coming in now from the back alley, and now you're changing it to the front of the street, the entrance into the houses are going to be different.
Well, again, Tom has several projects where this has gone on, and I've looked at a couple of them.
So what we do is so if they're being served off the back, runs along their backyard, new water main goes out front, new service meter, and then we extend the service line to intercept in the back of the home and disconnect their existing service line that's coming from the back. So it does go around the house and connect to it. And
So there's a nice ditch through everybody's yard.
It's a little intrusive.
it is mostly sod. We go the path of least resistance, and then the boring, lots of boring. So dig a hole, bore it
Yeah.
under some good stuff, that we don't want to repair, and then pop a hole over here where the service line is and reconnect it. This is not an uncommon scenario. Just we're doing one in East Spokane right now, designing it. It's exactly the same thing. They have these 4-inch mains that are running in the alleys. Well, nobody maintains the alleys, so they close. Some places do, but oftentimes they don't. And then all of a sudden, one guy puts a fence up in the middle of the alley, and then another, and then it gets vacated, And now there's no way to get in and repair anything. You got sheds and fences and dogs and kennels and all kinds of stuff.
That's my property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have a question. I'm an electrical guy, not a plumbing guy. When you're switching from the back water feed to the front main water feed, how do you handle the sediment from the switching? Like is there any sediment or excess earth or whatnot coming through the lines at all?
No, that ends up being pretty clean as they lay it.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's if they bore it, it's a casing, 2-inch casing,
Okay.
and then they run a 1-inch service line with a tracer wire in it.
Okay.
So and it's got a cap on it when they shove it through.
Yeah, it was
They
an honest
flush
question.
those-
I was like,
We'll flush those lines at the meter on everyone, so
cool.
nothing is.
I was just curious.
That tracer line is,
Right?
Yes.
I'm
Yes, and everything will be tracer wire too. Won't be any more looking at pirate
Well, we
maps
do.
back in the office.
Right.
So
Yeah,
you
I
have
just
something
wanted to
to
add some context. So like Scott was saying, this was projected for a project in 2027 in the capital improvement plan. So it's not a surprise, but one of the things, it's a learning process. This robust capital improvement plan is something that we are still perfecting. And what we're looking at with this is that in order to do a plan of this scope, we really want to schedule the engineering to happen in advance of the work. So this is just preparing us for a smoother path in 2027 for delivery. This would have been if we didn't do this now, we would be delaying the project next year to get this information to be able to bid the project effectively. So
Out of curiosity, how much of rest of Medical Lake has the same problem?
This is our main portion of town that has this problem. I do have another section in the older part over off of Fellows and Grant and Percival. Those neighborhoods, they have a 2-inch line in those alleys. But those are in relatively decent shape. We're not in there as often as we are between homes here. This was buried shallow, and homeowners find them. We do have one that is. A lot of those older homes, people have what's called knob and tube wiring, and a lot of times you'll have galvanic corrosion due to electrolysis of people grounding their electrical panels to the water, their water line. Well, that electricity discharges through that galvanized pipe and pulls material off the pipe every time it discharges, so those leaks occur. In fact, we had an employee here a month or so ago experience electricity in a pipe. He's okay. He's not stuttering anymore, but
That was legal back then.
that was, yeah, that's
He's
what
called,
he
but
did.
he didn't.
He's, yeah, that happens. It's an older part of town, so
what year is it like 60s or?
this was late 60s, this neighborhood, a lot, early 70s, 50s maybe.
And some of those maybe older than that.
It was mid 60s, between 62 to 67 before Washington State finally updated where you had to have a dedicated neutral in your homes, not just a hot and a grounding wire, or you had to have your grounding wire, not just your neutral going back to your box. So, and to do that, you could also just ground it back out to your water line. But that's before they realized you could do your, pull off of your electrolysis issue and end up electrocuting yourself in that manner. It was also when we had our Edison tubes where you could just screw those in instead of our control locks that we have now. So,
Council, any further questions?
Any questions?
Councilman Wilbur, anything further that you want to?
So this is good.
Okay, and then the 48,000 is that, where's the funding? It goes to-
Water restricted fund.
Water restricted, very good. And this is just for the design, and then that'll come through as part of the project proposal that we soon be doing.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, you're gonna want to do it in 27.
Yes,
Okay,
phase one.
okay, so the design had happened now in 26 and then.
Yeah.
So,
I-
so,
Yeah,
so that's the water restrict fund, the, 402 line?
Correct.
Okay, okay, all right. Good. Yeah, better now than later.
we think through with council. Okay, well, we appreciate the presentation of council. If you're satisfied, we'll bring that forward, next time, next meeting. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you. Thank you, yeah.
All right, take care.
Have a good one. Periodic update, it's a code amendment related to affordable housing draft language page 30. And then we come and check with us about that. And I believe you also have an addendum page that was handed out for two.
It replaces page 31.
Page 30, thank you.
So this is affordable housing amendment package number 5 of 10. And we go through the same 6 meetings to get through each amendment package. So just a new graphic to show you where we're at on this one. So this is meeting number 4. And so we're just to discuss language. Next time I will see you, we'll have a hearing and you'll see the language in ordinance form. Thanks, Ryan. Oh, I'm still looking. Yeah, it's all color coordinated, don't worry. Okay, so the reason you have a replacement page is because our legal counsel was not able to finish his review prior to the packet being prepared. So the red lettering is what was amended after the Planning Commission saw the language. So the Planning Commission held a hearing on this and recommends approval, unanimously recommended approval. So the purple writing is from our legal counsel that made some amendments that are not material, but they shore up the language to help us. We've talked about ADUs a number of times, and most of this is mandatory from the state, changes to our RCWs. And I did add conversion, and I guess I'll speak to that for one moment, which the state RCWs say that we have to allow conversion of a building, even if it doesn't meet today's standards for like location, setback, height, building coverage, anything like that. And so added that language, but put in there that it has to be legally constructed. So just because something exists doesn't mean it's legal. And to establish if it's legal, it would either be proof of building permit, or if you had a date in which it was constructed, we check the code at the time. So the zoning code has changed a little bit over the years. The way it's written today, 1965, I believe. So generally speaking, it's been similar since 1965. But if we had to research it, that's what we would do. Go back and find that date and see what the code said at that time. And if it was built legally, like meaning it met all the standards at the time, then it could be converted. It still has to meet building code. So major upgrades most likely would be necessary to convert an accessory structure to an accessory dwelling unit.
I think that was one of the things in my mind that I kind of finally, got separated, was the difference between the zoning and the setbacks and, what was done at the time. And then the permit to bring it up to standards to an ADU that would still have to meet all the current building codes. So one is, where it sits and how it was built at the time, but that permit will trigger current building standards for the ADU itself. So that was helpful for me to understand.
You're changing some of those setbacks and building heights and things for separate
Or
buildings.
new ones, but if there's an existing being converted and it was, that's what Lisa's saying. If it already exists, it's affixed to the property, it was properly done, and they can prove that it can stay where it is. but the conversion would have to come up to the current standards.
Right. So section 030, it states that if the standard is not listed below, it's the zone that it's located in. Right, so setbacks, for instance. Yeah.
And you're changing them slightly.
And you will see you are doing your final read, hopefully, on the zoning ordinance, the zoning districts tonight. Yes. So
Any other questions, council, or thoughts that you'd like to share? Make sure I both anything covered.
No, Your Honor.
All right, with council approval, then we'll bring that back at the next meeting and we will go. Will that be a public hearing?
Yes, next
When you
time
bring
is
it
public
back,
hearing.
okay, we'll have a public hearing and then at the community council. So thank you so much. We're making progress. Next is the Parks Master Plan. If you want to turn to page 32, it's many pages. The Resolution 26808 workshop on that on the Parks Master Plan. Starting page 2.
Yeah, so we have kind of a quick turnaround with this one workshop and then resolution right after. So the reason for this is we are going out for some RCO grant funds, and our current Parks Master Plan just falls under our comp plan that also updating, which the last time we went out for an RCO grant, we were able to receive an extension on our Parks Master Plan saying it was sufficient, even though it technically wasn't. RCO allowed us to go ahead and go out for the grant anyways. So what this Parks Master Plan is doing for us now is checking all the boxes for our CO and making sure that we hit all their priorities for going out for grants and are able to qualify for the grant funding. The plan reflects extensive community input, prioritizes reinvestment in the existing assets, accessibility, and trail connectivity, and is tailored to the city's size and land constraints. Adoption of the plan does not commit the city to immediately spend, but is critical to meet Washington State Recreation and Conservation Office eligibility requirements. It positions the city to pursue grant funding and implement improvements strategically and responsibly over time.
But this is like capital plan, really, right? The master plan seems like it should be a master capital plan. It doesn't really talk about people or.
So this version, is it kind of okay to go with backstory on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have been working on a more extensive master plan that covers, 10 times as much information that's in here. This one is kind of just a pre-master plan, I guess, is a good way to put it.
Minimally viable.
Yes.
To meet eligibility.
Yes.
There's a design manual that RCO has that says you must meet these eligibility requirements, and this is just a version 1.0 that gets us to meet those standards, while the good work that Glenn and the Parks and Rec Advisory Board is continuing to do to have a much more robust Parks Master Plan.
Yeah, so there will be much more information on the next master plan that we bring forward. This is just to get those, check all those boxes.
Okay, so this is just to satisfy requirements to get the ball rolling, and you're getting everything else.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm more than happy to share, the master plan that I've been working on, the parts I have done. It's just very extensive, and with all the other work we're doing, it's been a long task to knock it out. So
I know this. I know I am willing to give you that good faith to let you work on it and then present something to the council under our administrator's supervision. I'm willing to give that to give some leniency on that.
Yeah, and our Parks Advisory Board has reviewed, what we've done with the Parks Master Plan, the one we're working on currently, and have
They've seen
input
this
as well.
one as well, correct? Your Parks Advisory Board has seen.
Yep,
this
we
plan and
discussed it in the meeting because
Forward and
yes, it was very last minute, so we discussed it at the meeting that I literally came from a little late to this meeting for.
But it probably helps as well. You know, a 6-year roadmap.
Oh, of course, yes, yeah, and
Kind of
our.
organizes your thoughts.
Yep,
Yeah.
and in our one that we will present later on also will have even more information in it in regards to capital improvement projects and everything like that in the future.
expect that. Go ahead.
My only question was on like page 74, where you have the capital improvement program. That was one of the things we were gonna work on was RV hookups at the park. I didn't see that in here anywhere.
Yes.
Be in the new version.
Yeah, I was
There
gonna,
must, so
And-
the waterfront park stuff will be in the more extensive
Yes.
plan.
yeah,
It's just
I was
in
gonna
the-
ask about Waterfront Park, but then when you mentioned that this was bare bones, I was like, oh.
So,
Makes perfect
and that's
sense.
when we're also going out for a grant is to just for waterfront park master plan as well, which will have
Yes.
all this information, but literally geared towards waterfront park only. And that's a grant we're currently going out for.
And I expect we'll have, that other plan will come forward as workshop in sections, just like we did with the comp plan,
Yes.
right? And so it'll be more extensive and we can see the language and make sure it's really our forever plan or a very long-term plan.
Yes.
But this will at least get us eligible for the grant is, and it's sufficient for them. Unless you saw something alarming, you didn't like, then we can change it. But
Yeah, there shouldn't be anything, shouldn't be
Yeah.
anything crazy in there,
That's the
so.
bare bones of
And
it.
there's some grammar, and then like as a professor, I see anything that's built by AI has hyphens all over it, and this has hyphens like everywhere that are not necessary. I would probably do a quick search place.
Okay, yeah, and we took the one that I've been working on
Okay.
and said, you
My
know,
elbow was too-
narrow this down, and we tried to go through and catch all the AI stuff, but yes, it helped us create.
Yes. No,
this
I
format.
definitely to myself. Yeah, I guess this just doesn't seem like that list that was on page 75. It doesn't quite jive with like the strategic plan as far as I could tell. Yeah, there's some points in it, but as far as like their hierarchy, then there's the capital improvement plans. It would be nice to throw that in AI too, make sure they jive.
Are you looking at 74?
Yeah, that list of them. I don't,
Yeah,
I feel like,
the table,
yeah.
6.1.
Well, then it's kind of periodically brought up here in different orientations and different things pop up throughout the text. But the table summarizes it. And it doesn't feel like it follows kind of what we talked about in the past necessarily as what we strategically thought about. And the other thing too, is there's I'll let you talk a lot about community input, but I don't know where that input came from.
So we have done surveys that were put, I believe it was the first year, the last 2 years, we've done surveys, yeah.
Then it's some of it. It'd be nice to like highlight when you did them and what surveys you're talking about. Because I mean, some of this stuff seems very specific, like the trees falling over right behind the gazebo, but that's just one little section of probably the nicest pavement at a lake. And so I don't know, it's just I don't know. It seems like a lot of this is not really the biggest things are trail system, right? And so we're going around like Pepper Park has said it's fair, but like we lose over a foot a year due to erosion. And we did that geo walk. There's like that much goose poop, like just literally all over. I mean, that's almost like a public health issue. And none of that stuff is brought up at all here.
I think it said environmental issues,
Yeah.
Pepper Park, which I don't know, is generic, but it's
Yeah. Oh, it says erosion, but there's nothing about like health or like Coney Island's got goose poop like mad in it now too. Like the lights knocked over by geese, I think.
So-
like goose.
I guess a follow-up question to that point, if it's a public health issue, how is the water safe to swim in with all the goose poop that's there?
Well, that's the little
Thing.
caveat is the coliform's not like ideal. Yeah.
And just a question, kind of just,
No, we do measure coliform multiple times in the year. I mean, Steve does, right? And that is you do not want to drink any surface water. But I mean, like we're talking about like dogs eating this stuff. I mean, you don't know what it's in there.
So as far as the plan goes, you would like to see, let me ask it this way. What is our timeline? On submitting having this ready for the grant?
Without an approved plan tonight, then we will not be eligible for grants the rest of this year. We have a deadline application on April 30th that we would like to do, but if this is not palatable as a minimally viable plan to make us eligible for RCO grants, then we will happily continue to work and pass on the grants.
I'm wondering about the compromise in the middle of maybe updating table 6.1 that just includes more the current things that are in our purview. That seems to be what's come up a couple times. Updating that table and leaving that to staff, with that updated, that we go ahead and approve unless there's something else more alarming. So what's the timeline on coming forward with the larger master plan? I guess how long? I guess we're kind of like your council a little reluctant to adopt a plan that's not a good plan. Their name goes on it. I get it. My name goes on it. When are you thinking the master, the larger?
I honestly can't give you an honest time frame on that. It's
Like a
just
year, month, 6 months.
Closer to a year.
I would say
It's a massive undertaking and it's been a year's in work so far and they're about halfway through, so.
So at least another year, probably.
And it, similar to the comprehensive plan, you could do annual updates and that
Sure.
would be the plan, to not have to wait for 6 years and then do a massive lift and a major
Sure.
upgrade, but to do annual updates and minor changes here and there based on.
So are we stuck in a catch-22? That's kind of the issue. It's if we don't vote on something now, we're missing out on grant money, but
We'll just miss that
It'll be
grant
available in the
opportunity.
future.
Or can we just put this on the schedule at a later date and say we're gonna revamp this a year from now?
We can update it anytime.
Yeah.
Well, you said something about the rest of the year for the grants.
1 year to do the expanded, fully developed master plan that would be comprehensive and we would adopt as a whole. It's going to take me about a year to finish. We can update any of this anytime we want to.
We put it on the schedule for a certain time and it can't.
And we can, yes, and we can, like was said, there are sections, they go by sections, so there's 5 sections in total, 6.
so
And-
just because we put this up for to approve to be able to get grants doesn't mean that we can't keep this as an active document.
It is a living
It
document.
is a living.
So it is a living document where we can still keep making these improvements.
Say again,
So it is a living document where we keep making these improvements.
right?
This is just like, okay, put it forward as a bare bones so we can get our grant money. Is that what we're being asked? Okay. That's what I thought.
So, is council comfortable with, accepting this? We'll be moving on to talk about the approving, resolution that adopts this. Are we okay doing that, or, is there some concern that we should make some changes before that? So that would be the time to.
Well, I would
Yes.
move to approve resolution 26808.
Okay, we're gonna jump.
Second.
Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
It's got to represent.
And so gives us 4, so a majority. So thank you.
Thank you.
Moving to the consent agenda for approval of the April 7, 2026 minutes. Any changes or amendments to the minutes?
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, any discussion or concern about that? All in favor? Any opposed? Approval of April 21st, 2026 payroll claims and warrants numbered 53569 through 53576 and payroll payable warrants numbered 30341 through 30350 in the amount of $173,410.62 and claim warrants numbered 53627 through 53667 in the amount of $165,837.42.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion on claims and warrants? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. We have no public hearing, no executive session. Moving on to resolutions and resolution 26801, the service agreement with Klein Heating and Air for the kitchen HVAC, page 82.
Well, council, you find that on page 84, and this is just the, in order to get the hood over the new kitchen area, we need to move some of the existing ductwork in the kitchen. And so this is a contract to work with Klein's Heating and Air to move that ductwork. Happy to answer any questions you may have.
Move to approve the agreement for service.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, council. Moving on then to 26802 procurement policy, page 82. As you recall, this procurement policy coming about the office and the super post audit. I think there's a lot of it and say that.
Good evening again, Mayor and Council. As the mayor stated, this was workshopped in our last meeting and came about primarily because of the audit. And there were no notes from the workshop, but happy to answer any questions.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Resolution 26806 is the service agreement with Allied Universal, which was prior Phoenix. The security contract, page 108. Again, this is our workshop. In fact, before you pass it tonight.
Yeah, so unfortunately, they were not able to give us a letterhead with Allied on it, so it still is Phoenix, so I'm sorry about that. But this, as we talked about at the last meeting, this resolution authorizes uniform security services at Waterfront Park, continuing a public safety approach that proved effective during the 2025 season. The proposed model combines more affordable uniform security on a regular Thursday through Sunday schedule with additional coverage during high impact periods such as holidays, festivals, and special events. We've definitely noticed in residents and even a couple of our park board members have commented on the security of the park, how they appreciate it because they're stopping, loud music being played, fires going on in the parks that shouldn't happen. Last year, they stopped a knife fight at one point. So things like that are all great things that they're able to stop before our law enforcement are even needed to be there. So with council's approval, we would love to have Allied back this year, formerly Phoenix.
Move to approve resolution 26806.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion, questions, concerns about that? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Passes unanimously. Thank you, Glenn. Resolution 26807, the SCA Small City MOU, page 121. So workshop for the meeting. As you recall, this is clarifying how the small cities have one vote on the STA council, and our representative is Councilmember Spears. He is also now the voting member for the 5 cities. This just puts into writing. We agree that we are going to collaborate, listen, and that we're going to have a consensus so that we're all, that one vote is the voice of the whole. So that was the gist of it. This, we're not asking STA to put that into their bylaws. This is, we want to keep that control amongst the cities. So that's what that MOU is between those 5 small cities, that we all agree here's how the roads are how we're gonna conduct ourselves going forward.
I secretly hope they're gonna put some lines between all the cities, direct lines.
So there was language in there on, shall consider and a duty to communicate and duty to ask. And part of it is to get all of the cities re-engaged. There was a period of time where they sort of was lax and then just left it to the one person. And then when an important vote did come up, it's like, well, I didn't want that, but you didn't say anything, and so there wasn't a real material vote, but it just, I said, well, let's just, all the cities felt it was important to just put in writing that we're all going to be engaged, we all have a duty and to take that position seriously. So
Since I was on the STA board, I always wondered how that worked, because when I was on the board, I think Liberty Lake was the voting member, and it says in the bylaws what the order is. But then I didn't really realize that there wasn't any communication between the cities about how that vote was going to happen. So it probably is very important. Maybe the small cities need to talk about before that member votes.
yes,
What?
yes. And duty to speak up even in the meeting, right? And present and accounted for. Yeah. So.
Was there a move? I'd move to approve this.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes unanimously. Thank you, council. Moving on to ordinances. This is a second reading of ordinance 1144, the periodic update of the municipal code amendments concerning zoning. Page 126. This would read this if you want to remind us what we're voting on here. And this, do we need to read this in the record, please? Thank you, council.
Yeah, City of Medical Lake, Spokane County, Washington, ordinance number 1144. An ordinance of the City of Medical Lake, Washington, relating to amendments to Title 17 and 19 of the municipal code regarding zoning districts, conditional uses, and variances.
Okay, so I have a visual. We've made it to meeting number 6 for amendment package number 4 of 10. It's pretty exciting.
You know, Pat yourself on the back that we got to last step on one of them.
This is the 4th one that we're finishing up. So the ordinance that you have in the packet, the only changes from the first read with taking out all the strike throughs, and there was some language in color representing various things. So everything's in black, no strike throughs or underlines or anything like that. And those were the only changes. I had no request from council to make any other change.
I move to approve the second read of ordinance 1144.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Ordinance 1144 passage unanimously. Ordinance, the first read on ordinance 1146 related to the sale of creative products, page 148. We workshop this last meeting. And this is the first read. Council, I'm going to read that title of the director, please.
Thank you, Mayor. City of Medical Lake, Spokane County, Washington, ordinance number 1146. An ordinance of the City of Medical Lake County, Spokane, State of Washington, adopting Title IX, Chapter 9.21 of the Medical Lake Municipal Code relating to the sale of kratom products.
Any discussion, council? Anything motion?
Approve resolution 26-8077. Nope. Sorry.
No.
Ordinance 1146. I'm not tired.
I was going to say, second.
Thank you. You got the correction. Any further discussion on the kratom ordinance? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes also unanimously. Thank you. That will come back. That was passing the first read. It will come back to the next regularly scheduled council meeting for a second read. No emergency ordinances. No agenda items listed. Please reach out to Mr. Weathers if you have any. Opportunity for interested citizen comment. Anyone present or online, I see a hand waving. If you can unmute. And I will state your name and your residency, please.
Lonnie Henderson, resident of Medical Lake. And it was very interesting to hear the presentation by Mr. Haggerty and Mr. Duncan with regard to moving of the water lines. And so I know that they were talking about that being kind of design phase at this point that we're looking at, but I'm looking ahead. I don't have property in that area, but I'm sure that other people that do live over there would have the question that who would be paying for damages to the owner's property, like to sprinkler lines or tree removals, any kind of landscaping that would be impacted by the moving of the water line. So can anybody share anything on that?
We can take your comments into consideration. This is just the design phase, but when it comes forward to the actual project, I think is when we would be looking at those on a case-by-case basis. But we'll pass that message along to Tom and to Scott. They're not here. And we'll get bring that back before council with an answer.
Great, thank you.
Anything further?
I will move to conclude this wonderful meeting.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
I can't even vote, and I voted. Any opposed? Mayor.
Oh, Diane has a question.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I rescind me.
Okay, we're back in session at 8:33 for one more question. I was looking at the wrong screen and it was covered up.
Goodness.
Go ahead if you'll give us your name and your residency, please. Apologize.
Diane Nichols, Medical Lake resident. I'm sorry, I was pressing my button trying to get the little hand up. I know you guys, it's late and you've been there a long time. I just wanted to make a quick comment about one of your agenda items. Sunny talked about the grant for the paving at Shepherd Field with the ADA access. I just wanted to put a face to that, but I've been the one that's been bugging Scott Duncan for almost 10 years to get that access. And it's going to be a huge help for me. I have mobility issues, but others in the community, there are other young people in wheelchairs. There's an adult family home a half a block from that access point. I talked to a caregiver a couple of weeks ago and said, hey, it might be coming. She was so excited that they are going to be able to get the clients out on the trail this summer with that access. So I wanted to commend Scott Duncan personally in the public forum. He is a treasure for the city. He truly listens and cares and tries to solve the problems. I'm sure some of his gray hair has my name on it because he's heard from me so often. I also wanted to commend Glenn Horton for hearing me too about this and supporting me. Sunny working on this, everything that went, everybody involved in this grant. It's going to make a huge difference for so many in the community and for those that come to visit from outside of the community for the soccer games. They all park along there and they've had no access. They've had to walk through the mud, the gravel, the chunks of asphalt, no access on the sidewalk. So this will make a huge difference for everybody. And I want to say thank you to the council for voting tonight for the master plan. Hopefully we'll be able to go for a grant to repave the trail. If you haven't walked the trail or run it from Stanley around the treatment plant, I suggest you do it. It's really deteriorated. It's in bad shape. And it really needs to be repaved. So by your vote tonight, hopefully we can go for grant money to get that done. So just wanted to say thank you and to commend Scott, Glenn, Public Works employees. By the way, I think we should have a city recognition day for our Public Works employees. And you guys have a great night.
Actually, that's coming next week, so.
Awesome.
But anyway, thank you so much. It shows your persistence paid off as well. So thank you for your engagements as citizen engagements like yours that has made a big difference. We appreciate you. So.
Thank you.
3 times.
Yeah, we try it again. Are you ready?
I will move to conclude if we're done.
We have another second.
I'll second this.
Look at it. All in favor?
All right.
Any opposed? All right, we're concluded searching now.
Yeah.